Here's my 1962 General Electric Thinline. This is my most recent find. A good friend of mine on YouTube that goes by Technological Heritage has found this unit cast out on the side of the road a few nights ago. And I did trade some pretty valuable fans for my collection to get this machine. And I'm quite happy to see this in my collection. This is, like I said, I believe it's a 1962 model General Electric Thinline. My grandparents' next door neighbor had this unit throughout my childhood. The unit was replaced with a modern alternative around, I would say, 2015. And the big thing I remembered of it was the backside, was the exposed fan in the center, and then being able to see a little bit of spine fin coils over here on this side. This machine has the General Electric rotary compressor in it, which I believe the machine from my childhood had the rotary. I remember the rotary sound, kind of, but it was very quiet. And the inside looked like this. Now, I only got access to the bedroom one time, and I had a vague idea of what the inside looked like, but I wasn't really too sure what the inside on that machine looked like. I remembered there being a grate that went along like this, and then circular vents at the top. Now, that particular unit, I can't remember. I knew for sure there was circular vents, but I'm not sure if this part existed. I don't know. And the door was on this side of the unit, and it was spring-loaded, which I remember that, because when I opened the door, it slammed close. This is a General Electric Thinline. That's what the branding is. I believe there would have been a piece of gold trim along the bottom. These would have had gold paint, which is slowly wearing off. And I have a suspicion to believe that this might be the same exact unit that my grandparents' neighbor had, because the outside portion of it was white, and these units would have been a chocolate brown. This unit at some point in time, well, I'd say a chocolate milk brown, but at some point in time this unit was repainted on the outside half, as you can tell, and it has been repainted white. So I have a suspicion to believe that this was the same unit, judging by the white paint color that was repainted on the back. Now, this unit was in pretty rough condition when it was found, so there's some chances of it being different. It never had a GE emblem on the back that I remember, but I remembered seeing another unit like this, that exactly like this, that had a GE emblem on the back, and that's how I found out these were General Electric machines. I had a hard time for a while trying to figure out what this machine was. And then that's when I found out that these were Thinlines. Eventually I came across the Air Conditioner Man's video of a machine similar to this with a Tecumseh pancake in it. And after that, I kind of was able to discover what these were. I was just waiting for a good quality video of one to come up on YouTube. YouTuber made a video of one of these recently, and that's when I kind of clarified this was the unit. So, after all of that, I finally have one of these. And something that I remember very fondly about this unit is the startup sound on the back side when they would turn it on. And I remembered every night around 8, they would turn the unit on, and I would wait outside for it to turn on, because I liked the sound it made. It fired up on high cool, and it sounded something like this. Well, if the compressor was on, let's try this again. That is a sound that I always loved to hear. And the sound of it running on high cool is also just as memorable. My whole front yard at night would be flooded with this sound. I would come outside around 9 something at night, where it's pitch black, a hot summer's night, as the Jordan U would say, and you just hear this noise just floods the yard. And I've always loved this sound, and this is something I really like about my GE Carry Cool, because my Carry Cool would kind of sound like this. It was a bit quieter though, it wasn't as loud as this. And I've been looking for a machine of this form factor for a while. I got the Fashionette and the Carry Cool, which I may have made a video of the Fashionette, I'm not sure. The Carry Cool I know I've made a video of a few times. Actually, I don't even know where that unit is right now. It's out here somewhere. If I can find it. I believe I've misplaced it. Actually, it might be over in the storage building. I'll have to figure that out. But it has an interesting sound. This unit's pretty power hungry. It's rated for 12 amps. Typically running on just on high cool, we get about 9 amps. Eventually it's gonna creep up into around that time. And something I'm a bit worried about with this unit is I'm afraid it's low on charge. The thing doesn't get very cold. At least I'm not sure. The unit still needs to be cleaned, so after it gets cleaned, I'll probably help the efficiency a lot more. Coils are a bit bare, because you can feel the fan really just kind of making a bunch of wind noise in on itself, so those coils will have to be cleaned. And I'm guessing because of that it's not getting the best of head pressure, so it'll probably work a lot better. And these vents are kind of interesting to have stoppers on them, so they can't go all the way around and recirculate air. So that's kind of a cool thing on General Electric's end. The look of this unit is just awesome. I always loved how this unit looked, and I had a hard time trying to find something that looked like it. So finally discover what the model was pretty cool, and to now own the machine is even better. It's kind of surreal having this in my possession. And my plan with this unit is to do a full restoration on it and install it in the bedroom at my mom's house, which my bedroom window is actually would have lined up, because the house that my grandparents live in, which my mom lives at now, is the exact clone of the house next door that had this unit, and my bedroom window happens to be the same window that this unit would have resided in, or resigned, or whatever, in if it was the other house. So it would practically recreate the install if it's installed in that way. Now this thing seems to overamp occasionally if it does, once it builds head pressure, so it will trip the breaker. And I mean overamp, it gets over 10 amps, even though I am aware it's a 12 amp unit. My breaker that this is on is only rated at 10. And this has a shaded pull fan motor, so I'm guessing the majority of the power goes into the fan motor, at least 2 amps of it. And rotary compressors aren't the most efficient thing. If this unit was not as power hungry as it is, this would be going in the bedroom over here most likely. Hardest part is seeing if I can get this installed in my bedroom at my mom's house, because my mom is not too keen on window units. There's another unit, or there was a unit like this in my neighborhood that was installed, but only the case remains. The unit was slid out and there was plywood put over on the inside. So the shell exists, but the unit doesn't. And I'm not sure which version of Thinline it was. I know it was a Thinline because it had that same style of back grill. And I recall seeing a GE badge on there at one point, a circular one, but I don't know if it was one of the ones that had the exposed fan or one of the ones that came after this that would have been from the late 60s going into the 70s. And we'll drop it down to low cool. And the unit is nearly dead silent on low cool. The inside portion is a lot quieter than the outside. I'm kind of all over the place in this video, but when I do the restoration on this machine, the inside's going to be painted the light brown, chocolate milk brown, as I'll say, and then the outside is going to be repainted white, so I can recreate the look of that unit. The back grill has been painted over, so I'm not sure. I might inquire about that other unit I mentioned earlier, the shell of it, and see if I can save the back grade off of that, because the unit's almost exactly the same. Finally starting to build up a bit more heat. This is a bit less energy when it's on the low speed. How many watts does it use? 854. And the switch on it's a bit knackered. So let's do that. And about 900 amps on high speed. Climbing up to 906, but we'll just say 900. Keep it at a nice even number. And we'll turn it off. Actually, before we do that, have a listen to the back side. You can really hear that GE rotary. It's very faint. General Electric probably made one of the best rotary compressors in my opinion. And at the time, this was probably the only option in rotary compressors, since everyone was using reciprocating compressors. But General Electric probably made the best rotary compressor. I know you can argue with that and say some other brand is. I can't really think of any other brands that would come close. Tecumseh made a good rotary, but that wasn't made until the 80s. And then same with Matsushita. Matsushita made a darn good rotary. I have a unit somewhere around here from Matsushita. I don't know where. And then the other option is Sanyo, which my Montgomery Ward over there has a Sanyo rotary in it. And that compressor is a bit power hungry, but it is dead silent. The Sanyo rotaries run really good, and I feel like they're kind of an underrated compressor. Just out of curiosity, anyone who's watching this, what is your favorite rotary compressor? I'm probably going to get a lot of people that either say Matsushita or General Electric. And the General Electric compressors were only exclusive to the General Electric units. The Tecumseh brand compressors showed up a lot on Amana and Friedrich units. Dead silent though, and we'll shut it off. It is blowing somewhat cold. Once the coils get clean, it'll be a lot better. And then here's off. You can hear the refrigerant flow. So there's my new to me 1962 General Electric Lo Thinline. Thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze. And if anyone has any more information on this, let me know. I'm always willing to learn.